Hi, when you're going through a breakup, sometimes we hold on and only look at what was bad because that keeps us from even like cracking the door a little so that we can have all those feelings and have our ex sneak back in. So we shut the door of what was good and we only want to look at what was bad because that's sort of like our shield or our armor that protects us from having to be hurt from all the good. But it's not going to be realistic because you can't just hang on to the bad forever. Eventually, some of that good, those memories are going to creep back in, and then you're going to get confused and you can get lost in those feelings. So we want to be really even Stevens and look at all of it, truly what was bad and also what was good when we intentionally want to pull it forward and look at it so that we can make sense of it and file it away and move on. And I'm going to give you an exercise that's going to help you do just that. Hi, my name is Olivia, and I'm passionate about helping you understand what relational trauma is so that you can heal and grow and move on with your life. So today, everything is coming from my book, I Can't Believe How Much This Hurts. You can find it on Amazon. I'll also put a QR code on the screen, and the link will be in the description. So the prior video, which I will put a link to, is all about what was bad. Not to turn your ex into a villain, but to keep it from romanticizing our ex and turning them into a superhero because we said who could let go of a hero? No one can. But what we want to do is have a realistic idea of both. We want to be able to look truly at what was bad and also what was good when we want to recall and put that information on a paper so that it's not sneaking in and haunting us, because we can get hung up on either end. But just like most things, you can't live on either end forever. Eventually, you're going to drop off and swing to the other end, and then you stay over here, you're going to swing. We want to learn, and part of healing is finding that middle where we can look at both. And oftentimes that's what allows us to move on. So today is all about what was good. And this part is a little bit concerning because we don't want to just focus on the good, get lost in those feelings, romanticize that past and our ex, and then either be stuck there or try to open a door that needs to stay closed if it needs to stay closed. So we want to be mindful. I'm intentionally looking at the good, but I'm doing it so that I'm not just stuck on what was bad, because I don't want the good to creep in when I least expect it and just take me out, take my legs out. So all of this starts on, well, it starts on page 15 where you're looking at what was good, but I'm going to give you some writing prompts. And again, if you ever get overwhelmed, just take a break and then come back to it. But if you are too overwhelmed, meaning you're not getting out of bed or you're not going home, you're eating too much, not eating enough, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough, any of those things, you're just not able to go to work or care for your kids. If you're feeling too overwhelmed, then seek help in your area from a local professional, because this is not therapy, this is not counseling. These are just writing exercises that you can try if you feel you're in a space to do so. So if you're feeling good and you want to continue, here are a couple of writing prompts. So I'm going to say the prompt. You could pause the video. You could write it down and do the exercise later, or just come back to the video when you're ready. But the first one is, and you might want to see how you feel as you're hearing this first prompt. The first one is thinking of a time that took my breath away. So in hopefully relationships, there was at least one moment where you were with your ex, and maybe it was early on, and they had this moment and it just left you breathless. It was so, perfect. You just really saw them for who they were. You really loved who they were in that moment, and it caused you to not be able to take a breath. So thinking of a time that took your breath away, because that moment will, in your memory, at some point, probably when you least expect it, creep up and get you. So we just want to say, yeah, this was a moment that took my breath away. Absolutely. Doesn't mean anything to me now. Maybe not. And knowing all things, or, not all things, knowing more things now than when you were in that moment, chances are that you are able to see it very differently. So what you want to do is be able to write about that moment that took your breath away and put in as many details as you can, and remember it and be glad for the moment, but also understanding this is not that same moment. That moment is not now, and things have happened since that moment. Okay, the next one. One of my most cherished memories. What is one of a memory that you had during the relationship that meant so much to you? It's okay if it doesn't mean the same thing to you now. The point is, looking back at where you were then and how you cherished it and why it was important to you. All of this is for healing's sake. So if you feel like I'm already through all of this, I don't get hung up on the good or the bad, I don't need to go back and reflect over this, then I would say don't. If you know that about yourself, then you are good to move on to the next exercise. But if you're like, no, I do get hung up on what was good and that's all I can see and I just totally romanticize it, but then I have these moments where I'm like, no, this was terrible. What am I thinking? If you get stuck in the back and forth, then this is probably a good exercise. Next one. This is a hard one. How I used to feel when we first met and I would see you or talk to you. So probably going however far back you have to go, remembering of, that excitement and looking forward to seeing that person and what that meant back then, knowing you were going to see him and how it felt to see him, thinking of all of those things, writing as much of that down and out as you can, because it's those moments that, are real and you did live that and you did have that with that person. Another one, kind things you used to do for me. And I find these prompts are really the things that get you when you're trying to move on and you can't. You're just thinking about, especially if you start seeing someone new and they don't do what your ex did, to even those like one or two good things, then it's just kind of like, you're not as good. Even though you're like, wait, but they also don't do all these other awful things. Does that mean anything? But somehow in those moments it doesn't. So just thinking of the kind things they did for you, if they did. Maybe you're like, yeah, you didn't ever do any kind things for me. I can't think of a single thing. But maybe they did. Maybe they carried your bag. Maybe they got your door. Maybe they cooked for you. Maybe they shopped for you. Maybe they knew your favorite, ice cream and they would get it for you. Just any kind thing they did, then you want to just reflect upon that for a moment. Okay, here's the last one. The good I miss, even if I began missing it in the relationship before it ended. So if there were all these kind things they did for you in the beginning and then it just like fizzled out and you were already missing them before the relationship ended, it's okay. Go back and look at that. Like, what was the good you miss? Even if it was gone by the end, if it was good, it was there at some point somewhere. So just thinking, yeah, this is, the good that I miss. These are the things and the things that got me, the things that I loved, the things that are not there anymore. And maybe I won't have them again and maybe I don't. But regardless, I was glad for them and they did teach me something. So again, you can find all of this and more from I Can't Believe How Much This Hurts, How to Get Through Your Breakup. You can get through your breakup. You can look at it. You can make sense. You can heal. You can grow. And you can fully move on and find freedom again. No matter how hopeless or dark it may feel now, it can be different for you. These exercises are designed to promote you to be healthy and to have wholeness and to have wellness and to be able to move on. So I'll put the link in the description. I'll also put some more videos on the screen that you can go and watch more on how to get through your breakup and also just relational trauma in general. So take good care and I'll see you in the next one.